welcome to the first installment of the Sharp Axes series. This is a collection of videos showing guitars that I've built within the past 10 plus years that I've built, rebuilt, or assembled. And the first one that I'm going to be talking about is the guitar that I've had for quite a while. It was one of the first attempts at rebuilding guitars. And this thing came from an old Martin Stinger body. Now, if you don't know what a Martin Stinger is, back in the 80s, acoustic companies like Martin and Ovation wanted to get into the electrical market and kind of get into the hair metal stages, so they built shredder guitars and brought them over there. Now actually they were both pretty good electrical guitars, however the music styles changed and there really wasn't just much demand for them, so they both went away. But they may be out there every now and then, and they're actually, if you pick one up, you'll find out they're pretty decent guitars. Though when I found it, it was just, I found the body, I found the neck, and it came with some black tuners, and it came with a different bridge. The bridge was like said it was a Floyd Rose style bridge, and it was very weird. I have it right here. Look at this bridge. Says Floyd Rose licensed bridge. To me, it looks like just like a regular Stratocaster bridge where they put fine tuners back over here. So it's an odd looking guy, and I've had it for a while, and I might put it on something eventually, but I just kind of leave it there as is. But what I did was I took the guitar and I sanded it down to the wood. Now when I sanded it with hand and elbow grease. I did not use a heat gun, I did not use a sander. I just did a lot of 100 grit sand, and I sanded this thing, and it took forever, and it was not fun. And when I was doing it, my original plan was to sand it down and put a nice stain on it to show the wood and the grain to make it look a nicer style guitar. However, like I said, this is a Korean style guitar and they didn't use the best woods. The wood quality was very poor. So I had to do a solid color. And this was a great time for me to learn the proper the proper techniques to paint guitars. So I followed the techniques I was supposed to the T. I used primer first, then I put lots of color on it, then I used sanding sealer, then lots of clear coat sander. After the clear coat, I let it cure for 30 days, and then I wet sanded and level sanded and polished. And it came to be a very nice, if you can see, a very nice shiny guitar that looks very well for one of the first attempts for a guy doing a paint job. So actually for all this stuff, I'm very, very proud of this thing. Now, for the hardware, I went online and I found $30, which gave me the hardware for the pickups, the tremolo, the tuners and everything, and then I found a cool little Perloyd pickguard to put it all inside here too. So $30 for the body and the neck, $30 for the hardware, and I'd say about $40 for the painting supplies and all the sanding paper, so about $100, a little over $100. So this is basically a $100 guitar, and technically it does sound like a $100 guitar because these are just really cheap Squier Finley pickups, and it sounds all right. I mean, they sound all right, but they're not the best in the world. And one thing about this thing that's really bad is this tremolo, because tremolo does not trem. It has a very, very tight arm. It just does not do anything. And I've tried my hardest to make this guy work. I have removed springs, I have added springs, I have removed the tension, I have lifted these guys up, brought it down, did everything I could to get this guy to sound like a real tremolo, and it's still me just pressing on metal. So what can you do? That's what you get when you spend $30. Now, what I'm hoping to do maybe one day later on is to take the pickups and put new hardware on it and put a little better stuff for this, make it sound a little better. However, this is one of my first attempts at guitar building, and as you can see, I made more guitars later on, so I usually kind of keep this thing as a good reminder that keep on trying, keep on working, and you can get some good results. So even though this is technically still a $100 guitar, it is still one that I'm proud of, and I'm very happy to put it into my Sharp Axes series. Thank you for watching. Okay, so a quick update. When I was making this video, I decided to change the guitar licks, so I picked up this guitar and I gave it a little bit of a tune-up before I did some recording. And the tune-up turned to be to just change the strings, and in changing strings said let's give it a good deep clean. While giving it a good deep clean, I noticed I had a small wiring issue, so I unplugged the wiring. And I was thinking that because I already had most everything all torn apart, I might as well get rid of this tremolo that I was complaining about. So I went to Guitar Center and I spent a whopping $25 for an all parts Strat replacement bridge, and I finally got something that I wanted to have. So yeah, obviously I'm a big fan of the bar, so having this guitar and not having a bar work I thought was just ridiculous. So yeah, I pulled this guy back together, and when I was putting it back together I just gave it some really good TLC, and it's playing great now with the new bar, good, super good setup and everything. It's been, for a guitar it's only $120, it's turned to be probably one of the best playing guitars I have right now. So that's my update. And also after 10 years, the blue is still looking pretty good, and maybe a chip or two here and there from going on, but actually gives it kind of a good little vintage relic look. So, getting better with age. Hopefully like me.